Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt an inexplicable heaviness in the air? Or had a conversation with someone and left feeling drained, as if a part of your energy had been taken from you, without even understanding why? It's not your imagination. It's real. What most people won't tell you is that there's a silent war going on in the invisible world, all the time. And if you don't know how to protect your spiritual energy, you'll remain an easy target. The scariest part? This happens every day, even to the most enlightened among us. Here's the truth: it's not enough to meditate, say affirmations, or try to think positive. If your energy is exposed, everything you're trying to manifest will be sabotaged before it even takes root. Because other people's energy sticks to you. And if you're a sensitive, empathetic person who feels everything deeply, that's when things get really complicated. But don't worry. There is a way out. A simple, quiet, and powerful way. And when you learn how to use it, your vibration elevates so much that it starts to change the way the world treats you. What you're about to learn here isn't just another technique. It's a game changer in your spiritual journey. A form of energetic protection that doesn't depend on candles, mantras, or gurus. Just your awareness. And with that, you don't just protect your field, you unlock the power to co-create your reality. It's like moving from survival mode into the driver's seat. If that sounds strange to you right now, that's okay. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many people feel exhausted, blocked, and unfulfilled, and how you can change that in a practical, immediate way. There are days when everything feels heavy, and it's not just the rush of the outside world. It's as if your body is carrying something invisible. The mind spirals, the heart feels tight, and you can barely explain why. The truth is, without realizing it, many people are absorbing the vibrations of the environments and people around them. This happens constantly, as if we're emotional sponges. That tense meeting, the crowded subway, the conversation with someone negative, all that seeps in, settles down, and stays with you. And this energetic overload builds up, blocking your consciousness from expanding. It's like each person carries an invisible field around them, and yes, this field is real. It's made of spiritual energy, thoughts, intentions, and subtle memories. Imagine stepping into an elevator with someone who's angry. You don't even need to hear a word. You just feel it. That's energy influence in action. The external impact often directly interferes with our spiritual journey. The mind gets clouded, emotions become tangled, and the divine spark within us starts to hide beneath layers of dense vibration. This disconnects you from your higher self, and you don't always notice. A practical example: you wake up feeling good, have your coffee, do a quick meditation, feel centered. But by the end of the day, you're exhausted, drained, with an irritation you don't even understand. Guess what? You probably crossed paths with some dense energy fields, and yours open up. This happens often in families, work relationships, or social settings where there's imbalance. When you're not aware of this constant energy exchange, you live reactively. And it's hard to talk about prosperity or abundance when your energy is being drained all the time. That's why the first step is to understand, this problem is not just yours. It's collective. People who are more sensitive, intuitive, or empathetic feel this even more. Some even get sick without any apparent cause. And ironically, many of these symptoms aren't physical, they're energetic. Traditional medicine rarely acknowledges this, but ancient traditions have always known. Neville Goddard once said that everything you feel and imagine becomes real, and this also applies to the energy you carry. If your vibration is low, your ability to co-create will be too. The vibrational field directly affects your connection with your higher self, your purpose, and your spirituality as a whole. Another classic sign of external energetic influence is when you start to feel off. You know that moment when you react impulsively, exaggerating, and you can't even understand why. That happens often when we're disconnected from our inner center. Other people's energy, their fears, anxieties, or judgments enters your field and distorts your perception. It's like watching your own life from the outside, without control. This diminishes your authenticity, your clarity, and your sense of presence. And in that emptiness, the divine spark is lost. These interferences also create patterns of repetition. You feel stuck, as if something invisible pulls you back every time you try to change. Life seems to spin in circles. And the more exhausted you get, the more vulnerable you become. This doesn't mean you're broken, far from it. It means your energetic system is crying out for attention. Your essence knows that there's a greater force within you, and that it's possible to access a higher vibration. But as long as you remain exposed, without protection, your spiritual evolution is compromised. The good news is, there is a way out. And no, it's not something mystical, distant, or impossible to apply. We're talking about something simple, real, and totally accessible: energetic protection. Something that should be taught in schools, just like brushing your teeth. An invisible hygiene, but an essential one. When you learn to take care of your field, you'll start feeling the difference. Your energy becomes lighter, your focus returns, and your inner peace settles in. That's when the magic begins, because when your vibration shifts, everything else does too. But that is a topic for the next point. After realizing how much we're influenced by other people's energy, the inevitable question arises: how do we protect ourselves? And here's where many people go wrong, thinking they need to become monks, isolate themselves from the world, or burn incense all day. Energetic defense isn't about escaping reality, it's about living in it with awareness. It's like having an umbrella on a rainy day. You can't control the weather, but you can choose not to get wet. When you start taking care of your subtle field, you access a new layer of your spiritual journey. A layer with more clarity, more balance, and above all, more emotional freedom. The truth is, you already have this power. Always have. But maybe no one has shown you how to access it. Traditional spiritual practices, from indigenous cultures to Eastern wisdom, have always spoken of energetic protection. Neville Goddard also talked about an invisible force shaping our reality, and that includes how we shield ourselves energetically. You don't need titles or initiations for this. Energetic defense is a natural right for anyone expanding their consciousness. It's like remembering who you really are, a being of light, with a divine spark pulsating within. You might be wondering, but does this really work? And the answer is yes, and it works better than you can imagine. Because when you start taking care of your energy, everything around you starts responding differently. Conversations become lighter, environments stop draining you, you sleep better, think clearer, and make decisions that align with your higher self. Prosperity begins to flow more naturally, because what sabotaged you before, external energy influences, no longer has a hold on you. You become the protagonist of your own vibration. We're not talking about something mystical or out of reach. We're talking about simple practices that anyone can adopt, from someone who's never heard of spiritual energy to someone who's been on this path for years. It's about grounding yourself and taking control of your own energy field. How? With intention, awareness, and techniques that strengthen your presence in the here and now. Energetic protection, when practiced regularly, not only preserves your peace but amplifies your co-creative capacity. Yes, your reality starts to change because you are vibrating differently. I remember a client who would come home from work feeling an inexplicable weight. She said that just entering the office made her feel drained. After she learned how to set up an energetic shield routine before leaving the house, everything shifted. She felt safer, less reactive, and even the people around her started treating her differently. This isn't a coincidence, it's energy in action. When you protect yourself, you vibrate safety. And when you vibrate safety, situations begin to align with that new state. Spirituality is practical, tangible, and transformative when applied this way. And the most beautiful part is realizing that this care is an act of self-love. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's self-care. It's saying, I respect myself, I honor myself, I preserve myself. It's acknowledging that your mission is too important to be interrupted by other people's energy. That your abundance depends on your energetic integrity. That evolution doesn't just come from grand rituals or mystical awakenings, but from the small habits of everyday life. A conscious breath before leaving the house. A salt bath at the end of the week. A sincere prayer. These are the details that make all the difference. And when this habit becomes second nature, something shifts inside of you. A feeling of presence. Of sovereignty. You no longer let the chaos around you take you down. You feel it, you observe it, but you don't absorb it. It's like walking through noise and still hearing your own voice. That connection with your center gives you back control, and then, you realize you're ready to go deeper. Ready to finally learn how to create your own energetic shield. Imagine if you could step out of your house every day with an invisible field surrounding you, like wearing an armor made of light. Not to disconnect from the world, but to walk through it with more presence and protection. That's exactly what the technique of the energetic shield does. It protects your vibrational field from external interference without disconnecting you from life. It's a simple yet profound practice, one that you can do anywhere, before a meeting, when you wake up, before bed, or even while riding the subway. All you need is focus, intention, and a bit of practice. Let's break it down. Step 1. Connect with your inner center. First, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Visualize a soft light in the center of your chest. That's where your divine spark resides. Feel this spot warm up, expand, like an inner sun awakening. This light is your source, your higher self, your living spirituality. And it's from here that your energetic shield will be built. Without connecting to this center, any protection is just fantasy. But with this foundation, everything changes. Step 2. Clear intention. Now, mentally declare, with calmness and certainty, that you are activating your energetic protection. It could be something like, I now activate a shield of light around me that protects me from any dense or ill-intentioned energy. Use words that resonate with you. The key is that your intention is firm. Here, it doesn't matter what religion, doctrine, or belief you follow. What matters is the vibration of your intention. And this is exactly what Neville Goddard taught so well. The feeling imagination is the creative power of reality. Step 3. Visualizing the shield. With your eyes still closed, visualize this light from your inner center expanding, forming a luminous sphere around you. It can be golden, white, blue. Pick the color that gives you the strongest sense of protection. See this sphere closing up, like a protective bubble. Feel it alive, pulsating, aware. Imagine that nothing from the outside can enter without your permission. And what's yours, your essence, your spiritual energy, remains intact, vibrating in peace. This is your field. Your vibrational home. Your sacred space. Step 4. Reinforcing the energy. Now, focus your intention on this bubble. Imagine it strengthening with every breath you take. You inhale, it shines brighter. You exhale, it solidifies and strengthens. You might picture sacred symbols within it, words of power, or even sounds that connect you with something higher. Here, feel free to use whatever connects you to your spirituality, mantras, prayers, affirmations, Neville Goddard's phrases, whatever lifts you, strengthens you. With each reinforcement, you feel more secure, more whole, more present. Step 5. Conscious openness to the world. Finally, mentally say, I am protected and open only to what is pure, true, and aligned with my purpose. This allows you to stay connected to others, but without being contaminated. After all, growth doesn't happen in isolation, but through conscious exchange. This shield isn't a barrier that isolates you, it's a filter that keeps your vibration clean. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll notice that, even on the toughest days, your energy stays stable, serene, untouched. What if you need something quicker, more immediate, more efficient? It's possible. Just do a quick version of the technique, deep breath, or rapid visualization of the shield forming, in a quick activation phrase. In less than a minute, you'll already feel more whole. Of course, continuous practice will yield stronger results, but even the quick version can shift your field. Use it before important meetings, when entering charged environments, or even when you feel a tightness in your chest for no reason. This is your vibrational key. And the more you practice, the more sensitive you become to subtle changes. You begin to notice when your energy is clean, and when it's not. You feel it in your body, in your thoughts, in the lightness of your soul. Defense becomes less of a technique and more of a state of presence. A natural way of moving through the world, connected to your higher self and vibrating with the abundance that only conscious energetic protection allows. It's from this state that you begin to harvest invisible fruits, but very real ones. Over time, the practice of the energetic shield stops being a simple exercise and becomes a natural extension of who you are. It's like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You do it because you know how it preserves your health, clarity, and vibration. Only in this case, we're talking about soul hygiene. When your energetic field is clean, protected, and nourished, even your thoughts seem more organized, and your heart feels lighter. Consciousness expansion starts to show up in the smallest details. You feel more clarity in your choices, more alignment with your spiritual journey. Life begins to flow with less resistance and more synchronicities. Someone who practices this daily begins to radiate something different, even if they don't notice it right away. Others sense it, and they comment. There's something about you, you're calmer, more centered. This isn't some new age fluff, it's energy in action. It's a clean vibration, in harmony with your essence. Over time, you stop absorbing the anxiety of others, the collective fear, the world's rush. It's like you've created an internal space of silence, where your divine spark can manifest more clearly. You become a living example of serenity, even in the chaos. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it's inevitable for anyone who commits to the practice. It's like growing a garden. Every time you water, clean, and nurture it, it flourishes. And when it flourishes, it bears fruit. One of those fruits is the strengthening of your higher self, that part of you that knows, that intuits, that sees beyond. Your connection with your spiritual energy deepens, and you begin to trust more in yourself, in your choices, in the flow of life. What once threw you off balance no longer affects you with the same force. You become more selective about what you consume, who you surround yourself with, and where you place your attention. The most interesting part is that as you raise your frequency, you naturally attract situations and people that are more in tune with your new vibrational state. It's like the universe responds to your evolution with new invitations. Healthier relationships, more aligned opportunities, doors opening where there were once walls. It's at this point that abundance begins to manifest in practical ways. And I'm not just talking about money, I mean time, love, peace. Real prosperity begins with inner protection. And this, as Neville Goddard said, doesn't depend on external circumstances but on the state of consciousness you hold. There comes a moment when you realize you no longer need to protect yourself as much, because your presence itself has become a form of light. And where there's light, there's no space for dense interference. The energetic shield is no longer something you do, it's something you are. Your spirituality stops being a topic of study and becomes a way of life. You enter a state of vibrational coherence. And this state is magnetic. People seek you out, they want to know what you're doing. And by sharing, you inspire. And by inspiring, you serve. And by serving, you expand. In fact, if you look closely, you'll realize that many of the people you admire today, those who seem at peace even under pressure, aren't lucky. They've just learned to take care of the invisible. They have subtle practices, energetic protection routines, moments of sacred silence, connection to something greater. And this vibrational discipline changes everything. It's not that their lives don't have problems, it's that the way they vibrate in the face of those problems is different. This is true freedom. It's not the world that changes, it's you who changes the way you move through it. And the most beautiful part of all? This is a one-way road. Because once you've tasted the lightness, you can't accept carrying burdens that aren't yours. Once you touch your essence, you can't live numbed anymore. You start craving more truth, more presence, more purpose. And this desire takes you to places you never imagined, places where you can finally be who you were born to be, with authenticity, with freedom, and with an energy that no one can extinguish. There comes a point in your spiritual journey where you stop trying to please everyone, not out of ego, but out of awareness. When you start strengthening your energetic field and aligning with your divine spark, something shifts. That need for approval, to be accepted, begins to feel small. You begin to see how much you've molded yourself, how much you've dimmed yourself, just to fit in other people's spaces. And then comes the awakening. True abundance is being yourself. No masks, no filters, no exhausting yourself trying to uphold versions that don't represent you. Authenticity becomes your new vibrational home. And that's when freedom begins, when you no longer need permission to exist as you are. When you anchor into your spiritual energy and the voice of your higher self, there's no more space for emotional manipulations, subtle blackmail, or relationships based on need. You become your own center of gravity. Other people's opinions still come, but they don't knock you down. As Neville Goddard said, you no longer react to the world, you command it from your inner state. And this command is not a shout, it's a firm, silent presence. The feeling is like taking off a tight garment after wearing it for hours. Suddenly, you breathe better. You take a deep breath. Lightness flows in, your body vibrates differently. You begin to say no with peace, without guilt. And the yes that used to be automatic is now conscious, coming from a place of choice, not obligation. This changes your relationships, your decisions, and even your dreams. You stop living by others' expectations and begin to create reality from your own truth. Co-creation becomes more natural because there's no more static between you and the universe. In a simple example, remember that person you used to avoid because they drained you energetically? Now you not only notice it sooner, but you respect your boundaries without drama. And more, you no longer feel guilty for putting yourself first. This is spiritual maturity. When consciousness expansion happens for real, it gives you autonomy. You stop outsourcing your peace. This is emotional prosperity, and it's rare, but available to those who commit to their own evolution. Spirituality, here, stops being a concept and becomes a posture. And the most powerful thing about this stage is that you begin reconnecting with your purest desires. Those that were buried by judgments, traumas, and fears. When you cleanse yourself energetically and protect yourself from external interference, what was once unclear begins to clarify. You start to feel a desire to create, to love, to contribute. And this desire no longer comes from lack, it comes from fullness. You realize that your energetic field isn't just a shield, it's a magnet. And this magnet attracts everything that is in alignment with who you truly are. That's why so many people who begin this journey go through ruptures. People leave, cycles end, some things fall apart. But what looks like chaos is really realignment. The universe is removing what no longer vibrates with your new frequency to make space for the new. It's uncomfortable, yes. But it's necessary. Freedom has a price, and it's called truth. But once you experience this state of being light, present, free, there's no going back. Your soul recognizes this place. And it demands that you don't forget it. The good news is, you no longer need to live for the outside world. When your energy is clean, protected, and elevated, you return to being the creator of your reality. And not only create, you sustain it. Because now you have a solid foundation. A direct connection to your essence. An awakened consciousness. And this consciousness is the greatest form of power anyone can have. Now, the game changes. Because you're no longer at the mercy of the world, you're guiding your own journey, with a pure heart and elevated vibration, and it's at this point that life starts to surprise you. Now, tell me, how long will you allow the energy of others to dictate the course of your life? How much longer will you keep carrying emotions that aren't yours, thoughts that don't belong to you, exhaustion that didn't come from within you? You already have the tools. You already know the technique. You've understood that protecting your spiritual energy isn't a luxury, it's vibrational survival. So why not start today? Right now? What's stopping you from closing your eyes for 5 minutes and activating your energetic shield? What's stopping you from choosing, finally, to live centered in your truth and no longer in the noise of the world? The reality you desire is already waiting for you, but it requires a more whole, awakened, authentic version of you. And no one can do that for you. Only you can change your vibration. Only you can take command of your spiritual journey. And if you leave here today and apply just this, your life will begin to change. Because energy is a choice, and choice is power. So I ask you, what will you choose to vibrate from now on? If this message touched you in any way, if it made sense for your consciousness expansion, leave a comment telling me what resonated with you the most. I read everything. And if you want to continue on this path of evolution, connection to your divine spark, prosperity, and authenticity, subscribe to the channel now and activate notifications. Because the next step of your journey starts in the next video.